Okay, the power of visual language. The visual imagery, television, news, internet, it obviously does. I mean, you've got the pictures, still pictures or video. Heck, it also, like I said, 360 video. I've done 360 stories where you're actually, the if you have the goggles, VR goggles, it gives you a point where you're actually within that story. You're in that room. You're at that event, and you're walking around and you're looking around and seeing what you decide to for you um, to focus on, as opposed to the video editor and photographer, or probably usually the same person, decide, okay, you want to see this picture or that picture. With 360, you're in a certain area. There's a limit to what, they're still deciding what shot, but you're deciding what part of that shot. So you're able to look around from a 360 standpoint, and kind of get a view of what you're really seeing and what you decide to. Um, so that's changed it as well. And with the internet, I mean, it's a whole other venue, as opposed to that hour long TV show. They're constantly updating, and they're constantly putting stuff in there, for pictures and videos and links and whatever the case may be. And then now you have got social media with Facebook Live and Twitter and all sorts of other live components. And it totally changes to now you have live capabilities. It was just limited very much just to professional television broadcast, and it was just microwave or satellite. Now you've got your cell phone makes you the ability to go live, and there's other technologies as well. But so it's totally changed it, and it's all visual, right? But yeah, it's catching up on stories, things, breaking news constantly happening. It used to be you'd have to wait till the next day for the newspaper. Now you don't have to. And then the problem is overexposure. You've already seen it like 17 times before the next day. I saw it, and it's only how that video only lasts for so long until you find your next thing, and there you go with attention spans, because that's just further making issues harder with telling stories, because nobody has an attention span, because of all this just hyper glut of information, and what news is good and what news isn't, and what's fake and what's actually good news, or who's trying to shade news a certain way or another, which is wrong and shouldn't be done. But we live in reality, and these are all aspects and things that make the job so much more difficult. It's already a Herculean job just to try to get something out, but now you have all these other things that make it harder, and you're not getting paid all that much. That's the worst part. If you got paid a decent amount, and it goes up, don't get me wrong, I got paid more at Fox News as I did the other places, because it was a higher level, but the cost of living was more. It's still a tough job to do every day, but you can work your way up, but it's still, on average, so you don't really benefit for cash wise. Doesn't usually pay that much in relation to other jobs, especially jobs where their whole point is shaping a narrative and not necessarily being real, as opposed to we're supposed to, in journalism, tell the real story. And I've just got a whole diatribe about how things aren't necessarily the way it's supposed to be. So that's another aspect. I start talking about public journalism and how they've affected, especially anything from a technology standpoint, and like I said, with social media and everybody having phones and cameras and things like that has changed it. But also, it's a whole new source for places, journalistic places, TV, internet, newspapers, print, stuff like that, and because they're always looking for stories, and they're realizing that people have stories, and in some ways it has good value because you're improving your pool, but then there's the whole other aspect is that a lot of them are not professionally trained and know the rules. So that's been another aspect of what is news, what isn't news, what are you getting, what information you're getting, what is proven that you can prove, because for many years, and which should still be the case, what do the facts show, and you're getting people in some cases that don't care about those, but you're still trying to interact with the people and trying to get stories from them. So there are good sides to it, there are bad sides to it, and trying to be fair-minded. And these people in the public necessarily aren't fair-minded. For the most part, people have their specific ideas, however, viewpoints, and that makes another aspect. They may not necessarily care about what is the right way to cover certain things from a journalistic standpoint. Describing what is going wrong to imagining what going right would be like. Imagining, I mean, putting that out there, that starts talking about advocacy, and there are places for that. It depends. Once again, I think it depends on the venue and where you're putting that. What's the venue for that? If it's part of the regular mainstream reporting, then no. But if it's someplace else, then it might have its place and spot. And I think that's part of the problem. That they don't know necessarily where to put them. Where do you blur the line of journalists and the public and viewpoints and advocacy? And so this is yet another aspect that's clouded what journalism is, and it's sad. We know what journalism is, but it's become just so much, and nobody. That's why we have fake news. People don't like calling it. Like, don't do it. It's you get caught. A lot of times the problem is people get caught up in the job, and the job is stressful, and you're on the road every day, and you're busting your hump. You're running here, there, and everywhere, just trying to get the stories that you're supposed to be getting in a certain amount of time, and you're trying to do the best job you can. But lots of times, you just and you might miss things that you get to. I don't care because it's very, very stressful. You're not getting paid a whole lot, and you're being asked to do a Herculean amount of work. And you can see from a human standpoint how that could wear on people for the long haul. And then seeing people as consumers, to seeing them as public. And they're all seen as consumers because they're consuming the media that you're producing, the news that you're producing, and they are your viewer or your reader. And the whole thought is to be audience centric. What's important to that given area? What people in Boise, Idaho will be interested in from a news standpoint will be different than Detroit, Michigan. It just, they have different wants and needs and concerns going on in the different areas, and so you have to be audience-centric. And then, so that comes down to it. So, it's so complicated. There's so many factors. I'm sorry, I can't just give you too little, here's a reason, and woof! Yay! It's all figured out. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Sorry. It's reality. Life is not like that. I wish it was, but it's not. It's something you have to deal with. Period. Hopefully, you make the right decision. Keep going. Public journalism. And it's imagined as a conversational model for journalists talking about things, which is okay. But it says, and it has, like I said, it has its place, but there's lots of fights with, are you taking away from that media outlet if you put too much into it? It's in where you place it, and it's about where you play it. And there's certain things like editorial control, credibility of that media outlet, balance, and diverse views. If you're doing that with this public journalism, there's not going to be that many people who are going to be into it, and then you're probably going to get the same viewpoints. And who are these people? And you're getting a diverse amount of views, so it goes by a balance, and it kind of takes away. I mean, does it have its place? Yeah, I do think it has its place, but where it should be shared. I'm all for free speech, and I'm all for that and have venues, but where does it have its place in a traditional media outlet? Because in a traditional media outlets, people have certain expectations, and and you need that objectivity, you need that credibility, or then you're just not you're not a journalism outfit. You're, like I said, a propaganda machine. And that's not what any of us should be really working for or towards if that's what you want to do. And fake news and satiric journalism. I think if you would say, from what I've said in the past, I have some definite views on this. Yeah, they do appeal to cynical viewers, and they should. I mean, the news format is it is very formulaic. It is goofy. It is corny. But I mean, it has its form. It's what people expect, and it's and a lot of times what they do is they make fun of the news of the day. People are showing it, and a lot of that's fair game. But part of the problem is a lot of times these shows and people use them as actual news. And I read some stuff in there. It's like, oh, people felt they were more completely informed on what they're like, but they're not. It's very much a partisan show. They say, oh, we're satiric. Okay, you're satiric, but the problem is people use you as a real form of news, and that's not going to get you, because they're just basically propaganda, funny propaganda. Are they? Oh yeah, they're entertaining, and is it some of the stuff they talk about? Yeah, and it deserves to be laughed at, and I have no problem with that. But the problem is people actually use this as a source for news, and it is very obvious who they like and what they like. Yeah, they might occasionally take a swipe at people they traditionally like, because it was just so ridiculous and over the top that they couldn't ignore that. But 9 times out of 10, you know who they vote for, you know what they like, they know how they feel, and they become nothing more than just another outlet for a certain side. And that's the problem. And people consider it real, and oh, I'm getting... No, you're getting very, very... It's propaganda. It's funny propaganda. Is it humorous? Sure. I mean, I think part of that also is, so Stephen Colbert is now, he used to make fun of O'Reilly. O'Reilly had him on his show. I remember when he came on his show, he tried to steal the microwave. It's a true story. He came on, Stephen Colbert tried to steal the microwave. He wanted to take the microwave. I don't know, because he's trying to be funny and goofy, and he would call him like Papa Bear, Bill O'Reilly, Papa Bear, because he knew, and O'Reilly knew he was just spoofing on the show. But now he's on late night television, which isn't a political show. I know, believe it or not, stuff like Jimmy Kimmel and The Tonight Show and Stephen Colbert, which was and like these late night 11:30 talk shows, have always been there, but now all of them have become so massively partisanly political. It's just another like Daily Show or Colbert with some music and actors and movie star people and TV stars too. But it always goes down to it's always political. Believe it or not, they're not supposed to be designed to be political shows. Has political satire and jokes been done in there? They always have politicians on these shows. Yeah, but not to the extent that they do it today. It's become just another political show with every joke that they make is political, and you know who they're going to make fun of, and you know who they're going to prop up. And so once again, hyper political. Oh, but we like what they have to say. But that's not what the show is designed for. It's designed for multiple different aspects of human life, and it's only gone mostly political now. And that's the problem. This isn't funny anymore. It's like I want to watch other things and talk about it, but it always breaks down to that one thing now. And believe it or not, they're not supposed to be. The whole bulk of it is supposed to be political. It always have its part? Yes, it always had its part, but it's just been dominated by that now. And so you see that, and you'll see a lot of the guests that they have are politicians. They've always had that, but now it's not even remotely fair, or even it's just another outlet, just another political outlet. So it's something you can think about. I know some of you, I've never seen it any other way, but hyper political. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it wasn't nearly this bad. They had other things. So something to think about. Once again, another outlet, putting stuff out there and affecting minds. And it's that's part of it. Democracy and reimaging journalism's role. When they talk about social responsibility, and there is some sort of social responsibility there, we have to try and be we're creative, but we have to be objective to a point. Look at the story, see what's going on, telling people what's going on, and what are you going to do about it? That's what journalism is supposed to talk about. All right, what are the consequences of finding out this story? Be it either it could be the local political office like a mayor, or it could be some corporate thing that's hurting people, either health-wise or economically, or some car dealership or whatever the case be. And these are all fair game stories because we're supposed to be protecting the public. But then there's the point where you draw that line, where you're trying to shape an agenda. I will never ever think that what we do should be shaping an agenda. The whole shape of shaping is not the agenda itself, but telling people what's going on with those who are in power, either from a political standpoint or business standpoint or in the area, what they're doing. And this is this is the truth. And what are you as the voting public and these public servants or the law or whatever the case may be? Okay, we're finding the stories and trying to keep people, keep who are in power and make sure they're being held to account for the oaths of office that they swear they're going to take because of the sacred trust. Us shaping agendas is not what our job is. It never has been. It never should be. I mean, there are times when something extreme happens and people need information about certain things. Yeah, sure, of course, something happens. But to add, we have to shape people's minds. We're not here to shape minds. We're not here to. We're here to tell people what's going on. What do you want to do about it? That's what we're supposed to be doing, and give them a clear picture, not biased pictures, not politically motivated pictures, or this is the corporate feeling of our company above us, so we have to make sure we talk, focus on these people, make these people look bad or make these people look good, and take things out of context and keep pushing the drum of this person's good or that person's bad. Follow Yellow Brick Road. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be revealing stories of what's going on around us. Do stories that could be entertaining, interesting, stuff like that. Because there's so many different types of stories. We should not be shaping how people think, and that's where I have a major problem. There's a lot of things within this book that I have just bit my tongue about, but this is something I've been through a lot, and I've been in the industry for a long time. I'm sorry to say that a lot of us has become that way. If you want to go into this industry for those reasons, then you shouldn't be becoming a journalist, because that's not the point of what we do. Because then you're just a propagandist. We don't need more people lying to the public. So it's they think a certain way because that's better. What if you're wrong? What if you've been fooled? Here's the concept, because that you'll find a lot of people in the industry think, I'm too smart. I'm in this industry. I'm too smart to fall for such things. Something to be said for the people who are behind and they were watching and paying attention to everything going on and seeing how people act. And you'll find a lot of people in this industry in the journalism side, are very opinionated. A lot of them go into politics, which makes me say, why the heck were you in journalism to begin with? Was it just a way to pad your way into that position, to try and tell a story, to manipulate people? Because that's not what our job is supposed to be. It's to keep people in power, not rise to power because of it. It's if without a good loyal journal, when I mean loyal to being the state journalism, where you're keeping people to power, freedom cannot hope to stand if we don't do our job. And it's going further and further away. Right? That's something you got to think about. And I'm going to do my best to try to get you at least in the right direction. I'm just asking to be fair and care about the truth. That's what care about the truth and what's going on around you, because the people need to know what's going on, or it's all gone. It's lost. If you don't believe that, look at what's going on right now. Things that you never thought would happen are happening. Now I understand. I'm not saying anything about that, but what's going on is crazy and stuff. But look how quickly it changed. Things changed. The world changed overnight. And that was because of that. So think about it. Open your eyes. That's all I ask. It's about being honest and true, and to the being if you're going to be doing this whole journalism thing. All right. That's about it. That's all I got. And hopefully this does something for you. And we're almost done. We are almost done. Okay? Thanks. Bye.